Right. Thank you. Thank you to everybody who sent in questions and feedback since I asked for it last week. We're going to do, as promised, a sort of Q&A session this afternoon. But I just want to say a big thank you to everybody who took the time to send me something in, both on here on YouTube, but also through Twitter and Instagram. Had loads of questions, some really good ones, so I'm going to pick some of my favourites of those and try and work through them a bit later on. But you know, when I started this vlog, one of the first things I said was that I can't do this without your help, you know, without your interaction. And I've got to say, it's been brilliant. The feedback you've given me on the way they're going, the things you want to see and hear about, and like I say, the questions when I asked for them last week have been really, really brilliant and really encouraging, because you know, this is not easy doing this every single day. It's quite a commitment, but to know that you guys are enjoying it is great. I'd love it if a few more people were watching them, so do feel free to share and spread the news around. But I really appreciate those of you who are, and those of you who are letting me know that, so thank you. I didn't vlog over the weekend. It's kind of family time, so I left the camera at home, but kind of wish I had yesterday, because we took Wilson to go and meet up with 3 of his brothers from the same litter. They haven't seen each other since they were puppies, basically, so nearly a year and a half now, and I wish I'd filmed the moment they all got together, because they just went crazy and it was so nice to see. And I know there's a few Wilson fans out there already, so in fact I think my wife may have taken a little bit of slow-mo video of the 4 of them together, so if I've got that, I'll pop it in now. But it was brilliant. It was very cold. It was sort of snowy and rainy, sleeting and freezing cold, so I was kind of looking after 2 really grumpy kids, and I'm not sure my my fingers would have been warm enough to operate a camera anyway, but it was a lot of fun for the dog, or for the dogs, even if all the adults were a bit sort of cold and miserable. But he had a great time. Unfortunately, I don't know if you can see him over there, he's now stuck back with just me again, so he's probably a bit depressed today. But he had a great time yesterday anyway. I hope you all had a great weekend. And so yeah, that was it. I just wanted to say a big thank you for everything that you've contributed to all this process so far. I'm really enjoying it, which, you know, is obviously, I guess, one of the main reasons I'm doing it, because I think it's fun, and I hope, and it seems like you guys are enjoying it too, so long may it continue, I suppose. Right, let's get into some Q&A. Wilson, should we go home? Should we go home and get a bath? Should we go and get clean? Yeah, I think so. First of all, excuse the state of the room behind me. We are in the midst of redecorating various bits. I say we, 99% of the redecorating is being done by my wife. So it's not really us, it's mostly her. She's doing a cracking job though, and it's going to look great, but at the moment it's a bit of a building site. Anyway, as I said earlier, this is going to be about answering some of your questions, and I'm very grateful for everyone who sent them in, because there are loads, and I get lots all the time across various platforms of social media. This seems like a really good place to try and go through some of them, so we'll spend a bit of time today trying to tick a few of these off, and we'll, you know, try and make it a regular feature, I think, hopefully. So let's get going. First one I've got here is from Gavin Wright from Norwich, who sent me this one, I think through Twitter actually, this one was. It says, "Hi mate, so every year I have a little bet on the next F1 champion. Kind of stubbed this year. Do you think a few quid on Max is a good bet?" Yes, is the short answer of that. I think probably an outside bet, because I think the safe money, or the sort of low risk money, would probably be on Lewis Hamilton again, I'd imagine. Mercedes are unlikely to go from the favourites to being outside of the favourites, but Max Verstappen is a future Formula 1 world champion, and if Renault can get their power unit together in the back of that Red Bull racing car, then yes, every chance that he could be up there challenging for race wins, possibly even a title. So the answer to that one, a big yes. I'd stick a couple of quid on Max Verstappen. A YouTube question. This one came from H. White. Thank you very much. Hey Mark, enjoying the vlogs. Thank you. Have you considered doing vlogs at race weekends if there is time? Absolutely. That's partly the point of this. I would love to be able to do those. I don't really know quite how much time I'm going to have, but yeah, the point of doing this in the first place is to try and give you guys a little bit of behind the scenes access to what goes on at a Formula One weekend, what goes on at a Formulary weekend. So yes, that's absolutely the plan. We are restricted in terms of what I can film within the Formula One paddock, i.e. nothing. So the broadcasting rights restrictions mean that only the rights holders, so the TV rights holders, can film within the paddock. That changed slightly over the course of 2017 to allow the Formula One teams and the Formula One drivers to have a bit more freedom to film their own stuff. But as far as us, the media, anyone else goes, it's still heavily restricted. But that doesn't mean that I can't still bring you some insight at the end of each day or at the beginning of each day or from just outside the circuit every now and again. Because there's lots going on every day at a Grand Prix, and to get a little snippet of an update or a little snippet of an insight into that, I hope will be valuable to you guys. So the answer to that, yes, absolutely. I plan to do more of these from a race weekend over the course of the season as it gets underway. This is one of my favourite questions from Jakub Golas, also on YouTube. Shush, what are you doing? I feel like that video, you know, that news video where the kid crawls in the back of the shot and the man's sort of pushing him away. Oi, what are you doing?
Listen.
Can you be like that woman in the news video that crawls in the background and takes him out? So Jakub Golas, I think my favourite question. Awesome videos, thanks very much, keep them coming, thank you. He says, would you say you heard more rumours in the paddock as a mechanic or as a TV presenter? Brilliant question. I think there are rumours. The difference here between the two roles that I've held, I guess, in the Formula One paddock are that the rumours are different. So as a mechanic, there were so many rumours, but I was starting half of them, if I'm really honest. There were rumours about within the team who was doing what, who was going to be doing what, who was coming in, who was going out. Lots of sort of rumours on that sense. When you're in the media, we get fed rumours quite a lot. So people are starting rumours quite deliberately. Teams start rumours. People with an interest in various parts. Bernie Ecclestone used to start rumours all the time. And I guess one of the things we do have in the media side of Formula One is we have a fairly privileged position in that there are lots of people, lots of contacts who come to us specifically with the rumours because we're an outlet for them. So I guess we probably get to hear more rumours in the media sense of things as a TV presenter, but sometimes the more juicy ones were the ones I heard or started as a mechanic in the team. But great question, I really like that. Martin Wildgust or Wildgust, I hope I got that right. He says, he got in touch through Twitter, but I know that, Martin, you are a watcher of this vlog, so thank you very much. He says, good morning, Mark. Here are a few questions for the vlog. I'm looking forward to the season as I'm going to Silverstone and Hockenheim, but how will the teams cope with 5 races in 6 weekends? He also says, do you expect Silverstone to get a new deal beyond 2019? So, first of all, how do the teams cope with 5 races in 6 weekends? The answer is they just will, because that's one of the things that Formula One teams do very well, is adapt, cope with situations, find ways to make things work. But there's no question that it's going to be tough. It's tough anyway. A 21 race season on the boys and girls in a Formula One team, particularly the travelling ones, is hard. It's constant. There's no let up. There's no, other than this sort of mid-season August break, which is a very welcome addition to the calendar in recent years. It's relentless because not only, unlike us, the media, who kind of fly into an event, do the weekend, fly home, we'll often get home for a couple of days before we go on to the next weekend, even if it's a double header as such. The teams can't do that. So the mechanics and engineers will be going directly from one event straight to the next without going home, without going back to their factory, a lot of them. And we've got a triple header coming up this summer. 3 races, one weekend after another. And as you say, that fits into a period of 5 races in 6 weekends. It's just going to be tough, and it's never been done before. So the answer is no one quite knows how it will impact everybody, but people are going to be very, very tired. They're going to be very, homesick, having been away from home for that period of time. You're living in each other's pockets as groups of people within that team. You spend more time with them than you do with your family. So having been on the road for that amount of time will start to create cracks in some of those relationships. Undoubtedly, that's just a fact. But as operationally as a team, they will find a way to make it work. They will always do their best to give the guys in the team some sort of break if they can, to try and give them a little bit of downtime. But the reality is the job needs doing. It can only be done by those specifically skilled people within that team. That's why they're there. And so they will have to do it, and they will cope. In answer to the second part of that question, do you expect Silverstone to get a new deal beyond 2019? Yes, I do. I think I do. I think the guys at Liberty have said that they want to keep the traditional races. There's none more so than Silverstone. The difficulty they've got is that if they now renegotiate with Silverstone and offer them better terms, all of the other traditional races will be coming back to do the same. Liberty have to hold their ground to some extent, but equally, I don't think they're going to want to see Silverstone go. It's the home of Formula One, so I think they'll do everything they can to keep it, and I think those discussions are probably already well underway. Patrick on YouTube says, enjoying the vlog very much. Like to hear your thoughts on actual developments in and around F1 and motor racing. For example, the world engine discussions. He says, what's your take on that? I think what you mean, Patrick, by world engine discussions, I'm hoping I'm right in this, apologies if I've misunderstood, but I think what you're talking about is this is perhaps a generic engine for Formula One, or a customer-based engine that lots of people will be able to use from an independent engine supplier. If that's right, I think that's a really great idea. I think that's what we want in Formula One. We want a set of regulations that will allow an independent manufacturer to come in and create an engine that's going to be competitive alongside the manufacturers. The problem with doing it is that, it's just at the moment is the cost. So the cost of a current Formula One powertrain is huge. It's huge. Not only in terms of the actual components and the units that you sell on to customer teams. Hello mate, there you go, you finally made it into the vlog. Right, it's not playtime, buddy. But it's all the R&D, it's the research and development that goes into creating those power units in the first place. So I think it's a great idea. I really think in terms of 2021 and beyond, when we're now looking at new regulations in Formula One, we should, and I think we are, definitely thinking along those lines. So i.e. allowing an independent manufacturer like a Cosworth or somebody like that to come in and create an engine that could be bought by customers further down the grid that don't necessarily have or want a manufacturer link up. And we need to make sure that that is financially viable, both for the likes of a Cosworth or somebody, but also in the end, for the end user, a customer needs to be able to buy that engine at a cost that will allow them to sustain their business model. So I think that's what they are looking at the moment. So fingers crossed. And again, apologies, Patrick, if that's not what you were talking about. If it wasn't what you're talking about, I've just spilled a complete load of absolute rubbish that you're probably not interested in. Sam Lockie, thanks very much for yours, mate. He says, what was it like being a mechanic during pre-season testing, and how does it differ from race weekends? Yeah, very different, particularly back in the day, back in my day, because what's changed since my day to now is that A, we now only run one car per day per team at these tests. B, because we're only running one car, we've got 2 car crews worth of mechanics, so we're able to sort of swap them over and do a night shift for those guys in the evening. So one team will run the car during the day, the night shift will come in and do the evening turnaround. Hello again. Hello. When I was doing it, we didn't have that. So we worked all the hours that... We worked all the hours that God sends. We went in at 7 in the morning. If we got out before 2 a.m. out of the garages and out the circuit, that was a sort of pretty average day. That's how it was 3 or 4 days on the trot. So it's definitely changed. And I think when I went from being on the test team to the race team, the biggest change for me was that you see instant success or failure on the race team. You're very publicly measured, you know, how your performance is. Testing, you're going round and round and round and round, really valuable and useful and you know, absolutely imperative work, and you are contributing 100% to the outcome of a championship, but you don't see those results as publicly and as instantly. The lap times are almost meaningless. So I guess in that sense it was always less rewarding as a mechanic as opposed to being at a race where you kind of get an answer as to how good you've been as a team, you know, by Sunday afternoon. Okay, so Furlong, hashtag Team LH. I gather you're a Formula One fan and a Lewis Hamilton fan, but the question is, do you think that F1 has a fighting chance against Formulary for the title of the Pinnacle of Motorsport, especially with the new title sponsorship and incorporation of the ABB technology? So ABB, brand new title partner of Formulary, huge technology company that have worked across many countries in electric grids, electric grid networks, sustainable electricity, recharging systems. So a hugely valuable partner to Formulary. They will enhance Formulary. I think they already are. They already have. And over the coming years, the knowledge and the experience they will bring to Formulary will be, you know, brilliantly beneficial to them. The answer to the question is, has F1 got a fighting chance against Formulary? I don't think they're competing against each other. I don't think they want to be competing against each other. I don't think Formulary is setting out to knock Formula One off the pinnacle of motorsport, if you like. They're not there to take over Formula One. I think they can both exist together and in different areas and both be at the top of their individual games. They have different audiences. There's obviously some crossover, but they have a different audience, each of them. And I think, you know, Formulary is on a path to be hugely successful. It already is, but I think over the coming years, even more so. But there's nothing to say that Formula One is going to deteriorate. One interesting question, and I asked myself this the other day, what will Formula One be doing in 20 years' time? Because will it still be using combustion-powered engines, or will they inevitably perhaps have to go fully electric at some point? You know, will combustion engines become so socially unacceptable, like smoking, for example, that actually, you know, at some point you can't use them anymore for fun, for sport? And the answer to that is I don't know. I don't know. You know, people will say to me, well, horse racing, horses, which used to be our primary mode of transport, used to power or drive the horse and cart, when they became obsolete on the road because combustion engines were invented, we didn't stop using horses. We didn't stop riding them for fun, and we certainly didn't stop racing them. Actually, it's a huge, huge multi-million-dollar industry, horse racing. The difference, I guess, is that the reason we're moving gradually away from combustion engines is because they're killing the planet. So at some point, there might be a big argument to say that, you know, that's not something we should be doing for fun anymore. But who knows? Right, looking at the time, I think I might have to leave it there. Because we've gone on quite a long time. Thank you, honestly, for all of those questions. And I had, honestly, so many more. I get them all the time on Twitter and Instagram and now on YouTube. I really appreciate them. So please do keep them coming. When I've got a few or enough good ones, you know, we'll come back and do this again. So let me know what you think. Don't forget to comment with your questions below. Hit the like button and please do subscribe. Tell your mates, because I'm really enjoying doing this. I'm only doing this because it's fun, and I'm talking about stuff that I'm passionate about. As I said at the beginning of this, it will be coming with me to races, so you will get some content from behind the scenes at Grand Prix and other places. So Wilson's back. So for now, Wilson, say goodbye. Look, say goodbye. Thanks very much. See you later. Bye.